starting with the LA Dodgers. My pick is Julio Urias, and quite frankly, he has been the best underrated pitcher in baseball the last 2 years. He's won 37 games since 2021. He won 20 and let me try this again. He won 20 games in 2021. That's a lot of 20s. And then he won 17 last year. He pitched 175 innings, a 2.16 ERA. It was by far his best season. 166 strikeouts, 41 walks, a .96 whip. This guy is due. He's going to get paid too. He's in a walk year. So if he puts up a big season, the Dodgers are going to have to pay him if they want to keep him around. But I just fully expect this guy to finally get some love. He kind of got lost in it last year, it seemed like. And for pitching on a team like the Dodgers, it's kind of amazing that he was just forgotten about by the rest of baseball. But he's sneaky good, and I expect him to fully be in the Cy Young talks once again, if not even win the Cy Young this year. So he's my watch. He might even be the highest paid free agent come this offseason.
Yeah, well, we have Shohei coming up, don't forget. Shohei is like, I mean, even if he re-signs with the Angels, it's still going to be tons and tons of money, and I'm pretty sure he's going to wait for the offseason just so he can max out that contract. I don't think he's about money, but, fair is fair. Get his, his due. With Urias, I've watched him when he was 16 pitching for the Rancho Quakes for the Dodgers, and he's always been a quiet and composed kid, and I really enjoy watching him play. I hope he stays with the Dodgers. I hope he's a career Dodger. But he's gonna have a good year, I think. My pick for the Dodgers, Dustin May, came off of Tommy John last year and actually had fair numbers for a guy coming off Tommy John. His ERA was meh, but he had 30 innings pitched, so it's 4.5. Not terrible, but good for a guy coming off of Tommy John. The whip is what looked good last year, 1.17. In the low innings, that you really want to look more at the whip than the ERA. But before he had Tommy John, a healthy Dustin May was a 2.5 ERA, 1.09 whip. And that was Young, his real first taste of the big leagues. And if he comes in and does that again and stays healthy, I mean, that's just dropping another ace into their rotation. I mean, you got Julio, you have May, Kershaw, and then eventually Buehler. But I mean, that's end of the year, I think, or second half at least. So who knows how he'll come back. Just Tommy John is unpredictable. But May is the guy I'm watching. Carrot Top. See that orange hair flying everywhere, striking everybody out. It'll be fun to watch.
Moving on to the San Diego Padres, my pick's Manny Machado, and this is only because he has made it very clear that he's opting out of the remainder of his deal after this season. To be fair, though, I think Machado has a very valid point. He could very well make more money than what he's projected to make. If he is to walk away from the contract he's on right now, he'll be voiding out 5 years and $150 million. So last year I'll make it hot take. I thought he was the MVP last year. I'm just going to say it. But he had 298 with an 897 OPS, 32 homers, 9 out of 10 on stolen bases. This guy can still play. Really, if he puts up a big year again, he's going to make the Padres. He's either going to make the Padres break their bank, or San Diego just will they'll finally have met their match, because voiding out 150 is already a lot. So I don't know. I expect Machado to do better things than he did last year. I think this year he can win the MVP. He is my favorite for the MVP at this point. And again, he's just going to make a very strong case to get more money than what he's already going to be owed for the next 5 years if he was to stay in the contract.
Yeah, Manny, there's a lot of people who don't like Manny, and I get it, because when he was younger, I think it was around the Dodger time, he kind of did some not great things. He kind of pissed off some people, and I get it, but the years have been good for his mentality. I think he's matured, and I think he's more of a team leader. You see the way he kind of handled the Tatis thing. Him and Tatis kind of got into it, but I think it was more of his I was young once, and I know what to look out for. Don't get your head too big. Anyway, I'm excited to see where Machado goes. I think I'm hoping he kind of takes a torch from Adrian Beltre and kind of becomes that player that we love watching so much. Because he's kind of last year he was fun to watch. Hopefully that
Yeah.
continues and just grows, and hopefully he just mentors younger guys and helps them become better people and better players. Hopefully he continues to act mature. I mean, this last couple of years I've been liking what I'm seeing from him. But anyway, my pick for the Padres was Adrian Morejon. He's a pitcher that, as far as I know, they've kind of refused to include him in trades or at least discuss him. That obviously could have changed, but he's been a little bit untouchable, and he's a left-hander from Cuba. I mean, he's kind of been on their radar for a while, and he's supposed to be like ace potential. Had some issues, had TJ, came back 1.18 whip last year, so that's promising. 4.2 ERA, but that's a lot better from before his Tommy John. But right when he had Tommy John, he was kind of figuring it out. So I'm really watching him to see if he kind of develops into an ace for their rotation. I think he's rotation now because they kind of had been pitching him as like a spot starter rotation or long relief guy. But I think he's going to be a rotation piece. At least we'll see how spring goes. But he's a guy that I want to watch. I want to see succeed this year.
Moving on to the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll would have been the easy pick. I'm actually going Gabriel Moreno. He was in that Dalton Varsho deal. Moreno is, I don't really know how to put it. He's just capable of being another Rookie of the Year guy. I know Carroll's the favorite right now, but Moreno could easily make a run for Carroll's money in this regard. Moreno did very well in Toronto last year in a very brief stint. He hit 315 with an 806 OPS for a catcher. That's fantastic. He can run for a catcher too. He had 7 stolen bases in 8 attempts, 45 strikeouts with 24 walks. This guy's disciplined. He's a star in the making. I think down the road, he's going to get slated in here and there, just kind of eased into catching duties down the stretch, but I expect him to perform really well when he does get the opportunities. I think his power will boost up too. He only hit 3 home runs in the minors last year, so I expect him to kind of tap into that a little more. But he's definitely the sleeper pick for Rookie of the Year, I think, and I'm excited for him. As much as I was sad to see Varsho go, I'm excited to see what he can do because I think the Diamondbacks just stole this whole trade that went down.
Yeah. I remember the day the trade happened. You were like, "No, they moved Varsho," and I was like, "No, but wait, there's more. You guys got Moreno, and you got Gurriel." Yeah. I mean, if Varsho turns into a superstar, then yeah, maybe they lost it. Or if Moreno just collapses and is never good again. But no, I like Moreno. I think he's going to be good for the Diamondbacks. Hopefully, he's the long-term catching solution, and you guys have him for 5 or 6 years, and then. Maybe you'll extend him. I don't know. It just depends on if the D-backs kind of are willing to spend the money. But the guy that I picked is Madison Bumgarner. I feel like they need him to be good this year if they want to compete for that wild card. I mean, I said it earlier with DeGrom. Like, it's silly to put it all on one guy. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that can happen in the season. There's 26 guys on the roster, but Mad Bum, they have invested money in him, and they need him to at least give leadership and a decent ERA, like something that can keep him in the rotation, because he feels like he's on the chopping block. He could get a DFA or even just moved into long relief spot starts, and I really don't think they want to spend that money on long relief and spot starts. So I feel like he's kind of on the block, and they need him to be good. To anchor that rotation, not as the best. He doesn't have to be the best pitcher. He just needs to give them solid innings and outings, get 6-7 innings deep, for them to be successful.
Yeah, in a perfect world, that would be ideal. Moving on to the Giants. I think you and I actually picked the same player. That's Michael Conforto, and. Yeah. It's kind of a feel-good story. Like, I think the thing about Conforto is he doesn't even really need to do all that much this year. If he has a full healthy season and hits like 15, 20 home runs, maybe hits like 240, he's easily the comeback player of the year. He missed all of last season. He was late signing in free agency, and then he tried to get back in the free agent market, and he ended up getting hurt trying to get back to that. So it'll be intriguing to see how he recovers from that injury and if he can even be close to the same player that he was with the Mets. And also considering that the Giants lost out on Carlos Correa this year, they kind of need who they did sign to come through. And for Conforto, if he can come through for the team and kind of help that lineup, he's the guy to watch. He might even be, I wouldn't say the best guy in that lineup, but he's probably their 3-hole hitter if he can perform well.
Yeah. I'm curious. He missed the whole year, and I'm guessing he's pretty hungry to prove himself. I just think he's going to be the guy to keep an eye on. He had 5 straight. I don't know if they're 5 straight because of 2020, but take 2020 out of it. He had 5 straight seasons with 20 homers or more. So he has a lot to contribute to that lineup. And you look at guys like Jock Peterson, who went there last year. Peterson was kind of a late signer, but I think he had said he just wasn't getting offers. And then he talked to, I think it was Brandon Crawford, and Crawford called the front office and told him to offer Jock a deal or something. It was some kind of discussion like that. And that's what got him there. And then he ended up, I think he was an all-star, right? He had a great year.
Yeah, he was.
He got what's it called? The competing or qualifying offer too. And that's that's a big deal for a guy that kind of was a late signer due to lack of offers the year before. So maybe Conforto will be this year's Jock Peterson. We'll see. So it should be fun to watch.
And lastly, we have the Colorado Rockies. And my pick is Chris Bryant. I think, even in the small sample size of games that Bryant played last year, he did well. He hit 306, 851 OPS, 17 walks in 42 games, only 5 homers. But because of the contract, the Rockies signed Chris Bryant to, one, they need him. They need him to be healthy this year. And 2, I think Bryant is poised to be one of the top hitters in the league, especially if he plays half of his games at Coors Field. There's no reason that the man can't hit over 300 and potentially win a batting title. Not that I don't think Bryant is the elite player that he was when he first came up to the Cubs. I think he's primarily going to be a DH this year anyway, but a healthy Chris Bryant is at least something for the fans to look forward to. And when he's healthy, he's going to hit, and he's going to hit some bombs. So he's the guy I'm watching for because I think he's really the brightest spot on paper right now, not including the guys that they've got on the farm that are supposed to come up this year.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy that I picked is sort of like, I don't know, I guess the pitching side of the pitching version of Chris Bryant as far as what they being the star. Herman Marquez. He had a little bit of a rough year last year, which is uncharacteristic given he had multiple years of being solid before. I think last year was just a bad year. I don't think he's wearing out yet, but he does have a lot of miles on that arm because he started him young and he's a big strikeout pitcher, lots of innings. So it's possible he's starting to burn out a little bit, but I'm just interested to see how he does and where they trade him at the deadline. Maybe not. He has a pretty team-friendly contract, and that's why they haven't traded him yet. If he is on a big contract, I'm sure they would have dumped him already. But if he starts pitching well, I kind of expect to see him moved. But it really just depends on how the team's playing. If everything's clicking in there and if for a wild card, they might hold on to him. So